ladies, welcome to my latest and greatest dating advice video. This time, the topic is how to get over your ex and move on as quickly as possible. So if you're dealing with some post-breakup blues right now, you're watching the right video. I'm going to share several little-known tricks for minimizing heartache and moving on as quickly as possible after your breakup. You probably already know who I am, but for any new viewers out there, my name is Amy North. I'm a women's dating coach from Canada, and I'm the owner of CoachNorth.com, my popular ladies-only website featuring free relationship guidance videos. So enough self-promotion. Let's talk about how to recover from a breakup with the least possible heartache. The very first thing you'll want to do after a breakup is to remove obvious reminders of your ex. Photos together, stuffed animals and love notes, jewelry, etc. Either toss them in the trash or stuff them in a box and put it in storage. Once you're fully healed and over your ex, you can open that box and decide what you want to keep. But until then, you really don't need to be constantly reminded of him. This also applies to your ex's phone number. If you find yourself tempted to text or call him, but you know that's not something that you should be doing, then deleting his contact details from your phone is an easy solution. This doesn't work if you've got his number memorized, obviously, but it definitely does help if you lack self-control or you're the type to send drunk texts when you're emotional. You can write down your ex's number and give it to a friend for safekeeping until you're fully over him. Now, as a little side note here, I've been fortunate enough to work with Brad Browning frequently in the past. He's arguably the world's #1 breakup expert, and Brad recently shared with me a new tactic for recovering from a breakup that I absolutely love. He suggests writing down a big list of all the things you hated about your ex-boyfriend, or all the things he did or said to you over the time together that pissed you off or upset you. Maybe he had an annoying habit, maybe he unfairly criticized your friends, or maybe you absolutely despise the t-shirt he wore all the time. Doesn't matter how big or small they are, just write down absolutely everything that you aren't going to miss about your ex. Then anytime you're feeling down and missing your ex like mad, whip out the list and read it through to remind yourself that he wasn't perfect and that there are many ways in which you're better off without him. Another thing I've learned from Brad about breakups is related to closure. He says it's natural for most people to seek out the reasons why their relationship ended. I've noticed this working with my own coaching clients as well. It's as though people feel like they need to hear some magic words from their ex in order to accept the breakup and move on. I understand that feeling, but I also agree with Brad that it's never a good idea to chase your ex and try to get him to explain his thinking or answer your questions. The reality is that nothing he's going to say will give you the sense of closure you're looking for. Like I said, Brad is perhaps the best known and most respected breakup expert out there, so please check out his YouTube channel or visit beatthebreakup.com for more of his tricks and tips for getting over your ex practically overnight. Again, that's www.beatthebreakup.com. Now let's move along here and talk briefly about emotions. Let's not kid ourselves here, ladies. Breakups are emotional. Crying is inevitable, and it's okay to lie at home with a box of Kleenex for the first 24 or 48 hours after your breakup. But after a day or two of feeling sorry for yourself, that type of thing is no longer acceptable, and it'll start prolonging the heartache instead of healing it. So by the time 48 hours has passed since the breakup, you should definitely not be sitting at home alone crying. You should be out occupying yourself and keeping your mind off your ex. Speaking of which, you know what the very best resource is when it comes to overcoming a breakup? Your friends. This is one of those times where you can lean on your friends to support you and make sure you're busy doing enough fun stuff that there's no time to think about the breakup. Do whatever you can to stay busy for the first couple weeks after you break up. I don't care whether you feel like going out or not, you're going. Trust me, this is the best thing you can do to get your mind off your ex-boyfriend. Now is also a great time to make new friends, expand your social circle, and try new hobbies or activities that'll allow you to meet lots of new people. If you embrace this type of stuff after a tough breakup, it often feels as though you've gone through a life transformation that is actually going to leave you better off than if you had stayed with your ex. Use the opportunity to reset your life. Go back to pursuing some of those goals and dreams you'd pushed to the sidelines when you were in a relationship. Sometimes taking up new hobbies, meeting new people, and chasing life dreams can really put you out of your comfort zone. It can be scary, especially when you've become so accustomed to spending every night in your pajamas watching Seinfeld reruns. But that's what you want. You want to use this opportunity to steer your life in a new positive direction, and that's always going to be a bit scary at first. But it's also going to help you get through this breakup faster and with less heartache, so it's time to face those fears and just go for it. Now earlier I talked about the importance of your friends in helping you get past a relationship, but there's one particular friendship that is definitely not a good idea at this point. I'm talking about being friends with your ex, which is just a downright bad idea, regardless of how emotional you're feeling or how cordial your breakup was. It might be a possibility in the future, but please take my word when I say that trying to maintain a friendship with your ex in the first few weeks and months after a breakup is a terrible idea, and it'll only prolong your sadness and loneliness. Breakup specialists like Brad Browning pretty much universally agree on this point. So resist the temptation to be friends with your ex-guy and avoid as much contact as possible. Okay, so I've got one final tip for you before I wrap up this video, and this one's really important. Even though it may not directly seem like it, it will help you move on from your ex in the breakup. Please don't try to get revenge on your ex, spread rumors about him, or do anything else like that. I don't care how much of a dick your ex was or how often he treated you like crap. Trying to get back at him or bad-mouthing him at every opportunity won't make you feel any better in the long run. And it probably won't even be satisfying in the moment either. So resist the urge to slash the tires on his car, tell the world about his embarrassing secrets, etc. That kind of thing ends up reflecting poorly on you. It makes you less attractive to potential future boyfriends, and it's just not a constructive, grown-up way to handle a breakup. That's it for this video, folks. Thanks for watching. As always, please do me a big favor and show your support by subscribing to my channel here on YouTube. Do that for me, and I promise to personally answer your questions in the comments below and continue making free videos like this one. For more help with your breakup and your love life in general, my website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and the URL is www.coachnorth.com. And this is where you can also find my contact info and details about my one-on-one Skype coaching services. Thanks again for all your support, ladies. Good luck, and I'll see you again soon.